All right, ladies, gentlemen, let us try 11.2 number 38. So what we have is we have f of x is x squared, and g of x is the quantity x plus 2 times the quantity x minus 1 times the quantity x minus 3. And I'm supposed to find all the x's where g is bigger than f. Okay?
You have not many.
I have what?
All the x-intercepts.
Oh yeah, I have all the x-intercepts, right? You guys see that? Because this thing's all factored out, right? I know the x-intercepts. I know there's only 3, and they're boom, 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 right? What am I saying by boom, boom, boom? What are they actually?
X equals -2.
Yeah, so they're -2, +1, and +3 by the zero product rule, right? Okay, so maybe I bust out a picture of the world. And I need 1 dot, need 2, 3 dot, and back 1, 2 dot. And then this is, G is a what? Cubic, right?
Yeah.
So if I zoom out really far, it should look like this, right? So it probably does what?
All 3.
Yeah,
A little bit.
some kind of wobblies.
Wait, then wouldn't it? That's weird.
And we know that it doesn't bounce or bump anywhere.
What do you mean, bump or bounce?
You're supposed to say, that's from the book, actually.
Yeah, so I know it doesn't do anything else because it's a cubic.
Oh, and only 3.
Yeah, so a cubic can only have 3 intercepts. It's gonna have to have a down end and an up end, which means that it can only have 2 bobbles. Right? It can have 2 kind of top and bottom kind of type things. Yeah, it doesn't have to have 2, but it can have at most 2. So the total number of peaks and troughs has to be less than or equal to the degree minus 1.
Okay.
There's a calc reason for that, but you guys can just trust me that that's true for now. Okay? So I'm looking for where this thing's bigger than x squared, right? Okay, so x squared looks like something like this, maybe?
Can you just do a, what is it called, an equality? Or with the greater than beside? Or
That's probably a fair idea, right?
instead of
The-
making equally into each other, you make where x squared is, or you make where, yeah, you make where x squared is less than g, all that.
I think maybe I just want to put x squared equals that stuff, and then use my graph to sort out.
Oh, okay.
You guys see that?
What's up?
Like, these 3 spots, right, are going to be where they switch spots. I'm looking for where the cubic's on top of the quadratic. And it looks to me like that's in between here and past some value out there.
A lot larger than standard.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take x squared and I'm going to set it equal to this thing. You guys all good with this? I'm not sure this is going to be solvable. In fact, it probably isn't solvable. Okay, so let's see what it looks like for something to not be solvable, because shit happens sometimes. So I got x squared is, and what do I need to do over there?
No.
Yeah, I need to FOIL once, and then I'll need to distribute. You guys all see that? So I'll have x squared plus 2x minus x minus 2, right?
Yep.
All times x minus 3. And that's going to get me
X cubed.
I'm going to combine like terms, but x squared plus x minus 2 times x minus 3. Oh wait, x, yeah, good. Okay, so that was combine like terms. This was FOIL. And then what?
Distribute.
Okay, now I need to distribute. Don't worry, this isn't actually a good idea. I just want to show you guys how it would go. So if I distribute, I'll get x cubed plus x squared minus 2x. And then what else?
Minus 3x squared
Minus 3x squared
minus 3x.
minus 3x
Plus
plus 6.
6. And then combine left terms.
Is anybody confused about where I got any of that? Okay? Yes? Oh, okay. So I took the x and distributed it onto this stuff, right? So that got me my first 3 terms. And I took my negative 3 and multiplied by all that stuff, and that's where I got it. Yeah, so I'm distributing this thing and this thing. And I just need to make sure I account for all the 6 terms. You can draw a box if you want to for this too, which helps sometimes. So if you're doing one of these and it's giant, you can always do this thing where you go x squared x minus 2 and x minus 3. Then fill in and then add everything up. Okay, so I got this. Great. Now what? So I combine like terms. So I'm going to subtract x squared and combine like terms. So I'll get x cubed. That was convenient. How many x squareds have I got?
1.
Negative 3x squared. I would recommend that you kind of check things off as you go. So these are all the x squareds, right? All the x cubes. And then there's minus 5x, and those came from this and that,
And then plus 6.
and plus 6. Okay,
Equals 0.
good. Equals 0. And now I have a cubic equal to 0, and I cannot obviously factor this thing. So what do you try? Don't try the quadratic formula. Why?
It's not quadratic.
Yes. That's not a quadratic formula. That's not a quadratic equation, right? It doesn't fit. You guys see that? There is a cubic formula. I have never used it because it's like 2 pages long.
What?
Yeah, there is a cubic formula. Some of the Bernoulli clan of mathematicians invented it in the Middle Ages to win mathematics competitions because history is weird. Yeah, so I would say go to a graphing calculator or your favorite computer program. Wolfram Alpha does a nice job.
The thing I showed you.
Yeah, or the thing that, what was that exactly? What was the, I forgot.
Started with a D. I don't know, it's the first link when you type in online graphing calculator.
Cool, good talk. Wolfram Alpha it is. Yeah, or other graphing calculator app or whatever. So you're going to get some kind of numerical approximations for this, right? And they said, they sort of suggested, they did not suggest that I should be approximating. They suggested that I should be actually able to do this. But they are, of course, crazy. Unless what? Unless -1 works. Which it doesn't.
So like I said, just start like looking graphing.
+1 works?
Well,
1 minus.
It's a little less than +1.
Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, so why would it help me if -1 worked?
Because we could take out the negative x squared.
Yeah, no, because then I would know that x plus 1 is one of the factors of this thing, and I could do polynomial long division. You guys remember that one?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Of course it was. On this one, it doesn't work conveniently. So can somebody give me an approximation out of a calculator? Go. What do you got?
That's what it looks like.
So this is the, okay, so we graph this, and then you want to trick? If you hit second, calculate, there's an option for zeros. And you can say, oh, pause, 0, 1, guess, crummy. Okay,
Usually
maybe
it's
this
a-
one's better.
You zoom in on the picture.
I need to stop breaking my calculator.
Calculate 0, left
Should you have to buy a
bound,
new one?
What?
Should you have to buy a new one?
right bound.
No, I'm fine.
Does 4 work? No.
Wow, do you really want the calculator?
Who are you trying
So I'm trying to get numerical approximation. So what I found
for,
is
for the
this.
zeros?
Yeah. So I found that the solutions to this give me x is 0.388 or
0.388 or 3 point?
3.88 or, I wish it wouldn't do this, or 0.87 and some stuff, or bugger.
So are those gonna follow a pattern? Like, are they gonna be like a set distance between each other, or are they,
Nope.
they're just totally gonna be just random ass things?
So I hesitate to use the phrase random ass, but yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so what I got is I got the x's are approximately 3.88, so that's this guy. They're approximately 0.87, that's this dude, and they're approximately minus 1.76, which is this guy, right? So what are the x's where g is bigger than f?
Oh, between maybe 1.76 and 0.87,
Good. So
and then everything after 3.8.
yeah, so f of x is less than g of x, approximately, right? Between minus 1.76 up to 0.87. I'm approximating, right? It shouldn't, because this doesn't have an equal sign under it. So I'm going to do this with open parentheses, even though that's a little bit dishonest, right? Because I'm approximating, and these things maybe are on one side or the other. You guys see that? And what's the other stuff? From, yeah, from 3.88 on. So I need to stick those together, right? So, oops. So this would be my answer. F is smaller than g, at least approximately on these two intervals. Cool?
Thank you.
You can also use, since we had to use a graphing calculator anyway, you can use a graphing calculator a little earlier. Graph x squared, graph that thing, right? And then you can calculate the intersects. So that'll save you this whole thought process. And then when you can use the calculator to calculate the intersects. It's also under that second calc button. Cool? Questions, Steele?